Hello, Husky Nation. Welcome to Beyond the Bench, a weekly series where we sit down with each of our head coaches here at Bloomsburg University to get thoughts about their program, themselves, and what it means to be a Husky. This week's episode is sponsored by Steph Subs. We would like to thank them and the rest of our corporate sponsors for their continued support of Husky Athletics. I'm Dave Lazering, Sports Information Director here at Bloomsburg. Today's guest on Beyond the Bench is the head coach of the Huskies women's basketball program, Alison Tagliaferri. Tag, thank you very much for joining me here today.
Hello. I didn't know if it was ironic that Steph is the sponsor for today, but shout out to Steph because she's our favorite.
She does a lot for us, and we really appreciate her and all of our corporate sponsors. We'll start off like we have with every other coach, Tag, and how have you been able to stay connected with your team and keep them motivated for what potentially lies ahead?
Well, we've definitely had to get creative, that's for sure. We have one of the best group texts, I must say. I'm a little partial. So, we try to keep it light. The girls really kind of get involved. We send a lot of selfies. Well, they send a lot of selfies. I am not a fan of the selfie. But, we tried to give them some books to read this summer, things that would be helpful, I think, as far as mental toughness, even as far as just mental health. One of the books that we gave them was The Energy Bus. Not sure if you ever read that. Shout out to Coach Gallagher at Mansfield because she was the one that actually gave me her copy of that. But it's a great book, I think, and we talk about that a lot, the energy that you're bringing every day. So just different things like that. We had some Zoom meetings. I think our captains have done a really good job. Emma Saxton, Megan Brandt, Peyton Spadacino, and kind of keeping them engaged. I know Emma on one of the Zoom meetings made like a Kahoot game to kind of just break the ice and keep it fun. And Meg Brandt has been here on campus consistently and has really kind of helped keep it together with the girls that are here on campus. So creativity is a must in these times. So we keep doing what we can do. And like I said, I do think our group text helps a lot. It provides a lot of laughter.
So, Coach, you were a two-sport star at Mansfield, both on the court and on the softball diamond. How did that success as a student athlete help in your transition to become a college head coach?
I think for sure the whole managing my time thing and self-motivation, I didn't really have a life. As far as there was always a practice to go to, there was always a practice to make up, there was always a lift to make up. I am the wrong coach to tell that you don't have time to get in extra work, because to be able to do two sports the way it should be done, you have to be a special breed of crazy, I think. As you know, I fit the bill, I think, with that pretty well, but I've been through it. I've been through it in this conference. I think I would say the same for Flan, my assistant coach. She's been through it. She's had success at the level at Bloom that we're trying to get back to. And I just think that helps me relate to them. I mean, we constantly preach, like, you don't get good at something just coming to a team practice 2 hours a day. You really have to be invested in it. You have to make sacrifices. You have to put in extra work. And I just think that's the biggest thing as far as like walking the walk goes, like that we both sort of know what that's like and how to be successful in this conference as a team and as an individual. So I think pretty much anything that they've gone through as far as, fighting with teammates, breaking up with boyfriends, whatever it may be, I just feel like we've both kind of gone through that at this level in this conference, and it just kind of gives us a little bit more of a reality, I suppose, that they can really see, like, oh, well, coach did it, and so I should be able to too, kind of thing.
Yeah, you mentioned that special brand of crazy. I'm in sports information, so I know the special brand of crazy. So
your special brand of crazy is a little different than even ours, I think, because it's like you're like all sports all the time. We're just this one sport all the time. So I don't know how you do it, but God bless you, Dave.
Thank you. So following your fantastic career at Mansfield, you played professionally in Portugal. You also played professionally in Harrisburg. What were those experiences like for you?
Well, I learned that I like being Italian, and the food that I am used to from the Italian standpoint is a lot better than the food in Portugal. Not that it wasn't good, but I think both of those things taught me a lot about myself. I mean, you're in a strange country alone, gives you a lot of time to reflect. The team that I was on, I was the only American. A lot of the other teams usually had 2 foreign players. So it was really challenging for me to just not have, a pal that was kind of going through the same thing. But I mean, it was a great experience for me. There was a very limited amount of my teammates that spoke English. There were 2 in particular, Mariana and Rita, that were very fluent with English, and they kind of ended up being the translators for me during a lot of instances. And, Mariana was kind enough to take me to her hometown of Porto, where they make port wine. And so I got to kind of experience a lot of things like that. But it taught me a lot about myself. I mean, I did get really homesick. I appreciated the things that we have in America. I mean, at that time, it's not every house had internet. I had to go to the library to use the computer. There was a very limited amount of television to watch, especially television that was in English. So, and just playing against the caliber of athletes, that was over there. I mean, I ultimately chose the Division II level because I wanted to play both sports. And a lot of the other American players that were over there were Division I athletes, big school, D1, some smaller school. There was like one other Division II player in the Portuguese Basketball Federation that we played in. So just to kind of tell myself I kind of could have competed at that level if I wanted to, and just, I don't know, it was just a great experience, and just the caliber of athletes that I got to play against and with, even when I was in Harrisburg, it was just a lot of people that just have a passion for basketball. It made me a stronger person, I think. It made me a lot more independent. I had to kind of advocate for myself in whatever way that I could, as far as limited language barriers and stuff like that, I think. So it was a great experience overall. I sometimes regret that I didn't do it longer, but like I said, I was homesick, and just being away from my family and being that far away from my family was challenging. The phone bills were hefty as well.
Hard to believe, but you're entering your 5th season as the head coach of the women's basketball program here at Bloomsburg. What led to your decision to apply for the position and ultimately end up as the head coach in 2016?
It was very, very hard decision for me, not necessarily to apply. I knew, the historical success that Bloom has had in the past. Coach Cleary did a great job kind of turning the program around. And, I think Flan and her class had obviously a huge, huge role in that. It had gotten to the point at Mansfield where, we just didn't have the resources. I think we were on the verge with the class that we had of doing some really good things. And that class did do some great things as far as making playoffs, when they were seniors at Mansfield. But ultimately, I just think it was the best decision for me. Just the expectation level is something that I've always kind of thrived on. And I think the expectation level at Bloom is a lot different. I don't think that Mansfield has always been that way, but it got to the point when I was coaching there that that's kind of where it was at. And I just really wanted to, I knew that Bloom kind of needed turned back around too. And I just thought it was a great coaching challenge with additional resources to kind of help rebuild a program that I just didn't have at Mansfield. I think our location at Bloom really plays a big part in the recruiting process as well. We are much closer to Harrisburg, Philly, and areas that have some great talent. So that was kind of ultimately some of the things that led me to just make the decision. But it was really one of the hardest decisions that I have ever had to make in my life so far, leaving my alma mater and kind of the people that raised me and the people that turned me into an adult, and the people that I, went through so many great times with, so many hard times with. And I can't say enough how supportive that all of those people at Mansfield were of me taking the position, still are of me being here at Bloom. I don't think I could have done it without that kind of support and encouragement from everybody. And that was something that I was afraid of at the time. And the other thing was, it was just literally heartbreaking to leave the players that I had recruited to go to Mansfield. And, at the time, I totally understand, their feelings towards it, their anger towards it. I always say, to Coach Gallagher, my softball coach at Mansfield, like, if she would have left to go coach at Bloom, I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have begged her house, so I understand, how it was at first. I think now, we all kind of have a better relationship and understanding of it, but that was really probably the hardest thing about it, was leaving those players that had committed, to me and to the program. But ultimately, I'm glad that I have this sign says difficult roads often lead to beautiful destinations. And I think it was kind of that sort of thing for me when making the decision.
So how would you describe your coaching philosophy, and who has had the greatest impact on your coaching style?
I've been blessed with a lot of really good coaches, I think, throughout my career, both in high school and college. My philosophy is kind of, as far as a basketball standpoint, to simplify the game as much as possible. I mean, if we're playing great defense and we're running the floor, we shouldn't have to have 900 plays to run and this and that, and just really using your personnel and skill sets to the best of your capability. I mean, I would say Coach Gallagher at Mansfield has had a great, she just always did things the right way, from corny team building activities to just kind of letting each player be their own player. She never really tried to change me. She tried to, rope me in and kind of use what I was good at in the way that I was good at it. So I think I try to do the same thing. I think I learned so many things from Deidre Kane and Coach Wooden when I was at Westchester. Those are a lot of things that I've stolen and still continue to use. Coach Kane always used to say, know thy skill set, know thy personnel. That's something that I have found myself saying almost on a daily basis at practice. So some of that kind of stuff, I think I've definitely, I say stole because I stole it. I mean, give credit where credit is due. Other than that, I just try to be myself. We are not, we tell every recruit, we are not the most, we have a line. Sometimes we swear, sometimes we're inappropriate, and sometimes we're not politically correct. I just try to be myself. And I feel like I try to tell them all the things that they might not like about me, so they're kind of aware of it going into it. And I just feel like so far that's worked out for me. I think it allows me to build good relationships with players and keep the humor alive, have a good time.
Absolutely. We especially need that in the world we're living in right now.
That is for sure.
So you have, speaking of recruiting, you have 4 new faces on the roster this upcoming season. Talk a little bit about what to expect from them, and what are some of the selling points you use to bring student athletes here to Bloomsburg?
Well, we do have 4 new faces. I think they're all doing a tremendous job so far. Some of them even better than we thought. I think you're going to see a lot more 3-point shooting. Hopefully, that's something that we have notoriously struggled at since I got here. That was not the case with the previous coaching staff. They were some of the best 3-point shooters, Kat Nowak and Dana Wheeler, probably in the conference, overall for a long time. We're trying to get some of that back. And Valerie McGriff, we brought in as a post player. Obviously, we lost a lot inside presence when we lost Taylor Montana last year. And we lost a lot of 3-point shooting too when we lost Bella. So Alison Heilman, Julia Wheeler, and Nia Johnson, I think they're going to really help in that aspect. And Valerie, I think, has a ton of potential to become, the beast that Taylor was capable of being. I think she brings rebounding too. I think that's something that we've struggled with as well. So they've all caught on really quick. They're doing a great job. We have a lot of returners that are doing a great job kind of guiding them and showing them the ropes. But I would say as far as classes go, they've really probably caught on the quickest even. And I think that their class has the capability of emulating, the class with Emma Saxton, Meg Brandt, and Peyton, like where, a lot of things kind of started changing for us then. So we're really excited about everybody. They have a long way to go, but I think they're making strides already. We look forward to being able to having like real practice at some point, hopefully.
Hopefully. Exactly. Entering year 5, as we said, do you feel you have the program where you want it?
I definitely don't think we're where we want it yet. But then again, the special breed of crazy comes in and I'm never satisfied with anything. So I think we very much underachieved last year, if you want me to be perfectly blunt. I think it was the first time that we had any kind of expectations on us as a conference. I will even say maybe that was the first time I've had some expectations on me as a coach coming off the season that we had the year prior. And I think kind of all of us learned a lot, including myself last year, as far as we really just got away from the things that we were good at that got us to where we needed to be. And I think we had some individual performances kind of suffered because of the pressure. And I think we just didn't have an answer, I think, to some of those struggles that we had. Obviously, the second half of the season, you saw more of what we were capable of. But to answer your question, no, I definitely don't think we're where we need to be or where we want to be yet. I do think, we want to get back in the mix of trying to win a conference title, making regionals, advancing in regionals, hopefully at some point being able to even compete for a national championship. I don't think that that's something that's completely ridiculous. But at the same time, I think we have to believe that. I think the mental side of sports is so important now more than ever. And I think there's so many things that distract players in general of any sport or kids at this level from what they came here to do. And I think so we really need to pay attention to that mental side of things a lot more. And I think we have. And we will continue to do that. And hopefully the lessons that we learned from underachieving last year will kind of transform us and take us to that place that, we want to be.
So you've alluded to it a little bit so far, but what can we expect from the Huskies as they prepare to return to the court, hopefully, in 2021?
I just think our returners, our upperclassmen, Meg Cordoni, having her back for her 5th year, and hopefully her 6th. Shout out to the Cordonis, make that happen. I just think that we learned so many things last year. I think not even just basketball lessons. I think we learned that our energy levels affect everybody. I think that we learned that we need to play together. Like when we play together, we are unstoppable. When it's kind of like, oh, panic, I need to score, that's when we get in trouble. So I think our defense can improve, and our defense has been pretty solid the last several years, but these freshmen, I think, are really going to help with that. I think we're going to be a lot quicker getting up and down the court. I think scoring in transition is something that we should be able to do a lot better. I think we should be able to score from the 3-point line a lot more, and hopefully, Taylor garnered a lot of double teams last year, and we just didn't really have an answer on kickouts. And I don't think that that's going to be the case as much this year with, Allison's a great 3-point shooter. Naya can shoot the 3. Julia can shoot the 3. I think a lot of the returners have worked on that over the summer between Emma and Megan Fisher, but I think the freshmen bring some 3-point shooting skills that we have been just dying to have. So I'm thinking the inside out game. I don't think people are going to be able to double team Cordoni in the post the way that they did Taylor in the past, and we won't get points out of it. So that's what I'm looking forward to, at least.
Tag, let's have a little fun now and get to know you, the person, instead of you, the coach.
All right.
Your favorite sports teams?
I'm a little bit bizarre in the sense that I'm a diehard Yankees fan, but it's just not the same since like the 90s, early 2000s Yankees. The Paul O'Neill, Tino Martinez, Bernie Williams Yankees, Jeter,
The teams
Pettit.
I'm on my Braves in the World Series every year, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you.
Those were my people. I don't watch the Yankees as much, but I am a Yankees fan. I feel like by default, I like the Packers. That's who my dad, but I'm not like diehard. I kind of just like Aaron Rodgers. But then I like North Carolina basketball. I'm a Penn State college football fan. But other than that, like NBA and stuff like that, I kind of just like to watch. I don't really have I'm more of like I like certain players type of person and less of a all or nothing type of person with one specific team. And I would like to disclose that I am a normal Yankees fan. I don't necessarily hate on the Red Sox as much. I used to love watching them play. Jason Varitek was one of my favorite players back in the day when Terry Francona was coaching. I try to like not get too much Yankees hate because I'm open-minded Yankees fan.
Very nice. Very nice. Did you have any sports role models when you were growing up?
Role models? I don't know. Me and you have talked about this, but I always seem to like the people you shouldn't like. I love Charles Barkley. I'm a big Dennis Rodman fan. I actually have his autograph. Paul O'Neill is my favorite athlete, probably by far across the board with any sport. Feel free to send this to him whenever you put it out there.
Will do.
He does have a fan club. Larry White, our radio guy, he got me an autograph that specifically says to tag the bucket Bloom. So that's in my office. But I liked him because he threw water coolers and slammed helmets and just was so intense. And anyone that knows me or watched me play or watched me coach, like those are the types of people like I'm all about. But at the same time, I think players like Derek Jeter, Tim Duncan, they did things right. They're never in all these scandals. They just work hard. They're great role models. So those are the types of players like that I respect. But yeah, I probably would hesitate to call some of the ones that I like role models.
I will be sure to send this to Paul O'Neill afterwards.
All right, yeah. Perfect.
See what we
maybe we can get him to visit Bloom.
There we go. That'd be fun actually. So
absolutely.
So favorite movie. This throws everybody for a loop. So
I honestly couldn't even tell you. Can I add The Last Dance? Because that was the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Sure.
On a screen ever. I mean, Love and Basketball. Great film.
Mm-hmm.
Great film. Could recite it for you. But I also was a big fan of Nicolas Cage back in the day. So like Face Off, Con Air.
Okay.
I would say probably those, other than Love and Basketball. I'm sure there's something out there that I'm completely forgetting, but I feel like gone are the days where movies are a thing with Netflix and all of that.
So I feel like I should skip this question as I think I know the answer to this, but your favorite food?
You can't pick a favorite food if you're Italian. I'm sorry.
Right.
I couldn't even tell you. I'm a big fan of now, I don't know how you pronounce it, but the correct pronunciation is gnocchis.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of gnocchis. My dad makes some good homemade ones. Anybody that knows the Williamsport area, Tag's restaurant back in the day, whenever we would go there, I would get an order of homemade gnocchis. If you don't know what they are, I'm sorry for you. You should look them up and try to go find some.
In a silent if you're looking.
But I don't have a favorite food because there's just too many.
Right. Which I figured that was going to be your answer. So
yeah. I know I lived without pasta for a long time when I was in Portugal.
How'd that go?
I got a lot of rice, and it's just not the same.
Right. So is there a favorite musician band that you listen to?
Again, I'm all over the place. As a 90s child, I am a big fan of 90s rap, 90s R&B, but at the same time, I love classic rock. I love Frank Sinatra. I love Tony Bennett. I love Motown music. The only thing I don't really like is country. I just can't. And I
Okay.
know that doesn't go over well around here, but I'm not a big country fan. I love the 90s stuff. It's what I'm always jamming to.
Do you like heavy metal?
I don't like screaming heavy death metal, no, but I'm cool with like Metallica,
Okay.
the more rocky metals I can tolerate, but no, sometimes when we go in the weight room and Andrew has that channel on,
Uh-huh.
I just can't. You're like just screaming things into a microphone. What are you even saying?
You should come into my office at midnight after a basketball game, and that's what I listen to. So
Really? Dave,
yeah.
I wouldn't have even pictured that.
Yeah, well, we all
I mean,
have,
I like a good Marilyn Manson song once in a while. That's kind of a little metally.
yeah, that's okay. We're still friends then. So,
Okay.
all right.
Sorry.
So if you could meet anyone, past or present, living or dead, who would it be and why?
I feel like people are going to expect me to say something very profound because I'm a coach. And if I was being completely honest, I would want to meet Tupac and the Notorious B.I.G. because I want to know who murdered them.
Wow.
And also because I love Tupac. That goes back to my 90s
Sure.
baby stuff. But I would you watch all the documentaries. I've seen literally every one that's ever been made, and I just want to know the truth.
Mhm.
I want to close the case. So I would say that those would be my people that I would pick out of pure interest.
I will be perfectly honest. That is not what I expected,
No,
but I
probably
appreciate
not.
the answer.
Thank you.
Very good.
Because, yeah, I mean, some people might say like Abraham Lincoln.
Right.
No, I want to know what happened to Tupac and Biggie.
Fair enough. That's what I like about you, Tag. You keep everybody on their toes. That's for sure. So
I try.
And finally, last question. What is the best thing about Bloomsburg University?
Oh, geez. Personally, flan.
We all love flan.
I just think, I say this a lot, she probably gets sick of it, but I just couldn't be more thankful for her and just for her being in my life and getting to work with her and the girls having her, and shout out to her new baby, Lila. Future recruits.
There you go.
We're going to fight with Clary over that. But flan has just been great. And I just think, for me, you never know how that's going to go when you get a new position. And it was kind of the same for her. Like, who knows what she was getting with me. I'm just really glad that she had the other year to be here, that I got a chance to get to know her. And I just think the people of Bloomsburg have been awesome. Not just like you, but everybody in the department, the other coaches, administration, everybody's just great. Obviously, Bloom has a lot of other things that are great. Like campus is beautiful. The facilities, I think, are beautiful, but I just think the people that I get to work with every day are very similar to the people I got to work with every day at Mansfield, and they become your family because you're with each other for so long. And I think that's the greatest thing about Bloom.
And yes, we all love flan. So absolutely.
She's going to be mad at me.
Let her be mad. So Tag, I appreciate you taking a few minutes out today to join us, and we're certainly looking forward and keeping our fingers crossed
yes, we are.
For a season here in 2021.
And thank you, Dave, for all you do for athletics, because I know it's been hard to, create content. And here you are, just keeping us all in line and making us all have a good time with our job still, even though we don't know if we're playing.
Right. Well, we're trying, and thank you for putting up with me. But we're trying to have a little fun, and hopefully a lot of the coaches are having fun doing this. So
And hopefully mine wasn't as long as Stu's. It might be close though.
I can ask you a couple more questions to keep it going if you want.
No, I'm just kidding.
That is the one and only head coach of Bloomsburg University women's basketball, Alison Tagliaferri. We'd like to thank her for joining us here today. And thanks, as always, to Husky Nation for tuning in to Beyond the Bench. Join us again next week as we will visit with another Huskies head coach. And we'd also like to thank once again Steph Subs for sponsoring today's episode. For information, everything Huskies, visit our website at buhuskies.com. I'm Dave Leisering. We'll see you next week on Beyond the Bench. Have a great day and go Huskies.